So if you get yourselves into a comfortable position, allowing yourself to settle, allowing yourself to relax, breathing in and breathing out of your nose. Slowing your breathing down. Noticing how you are. Noticing how you're feeling. Allowing yourself to take space for you. Allowing that sense of spaciousness inside you and outside you. Noticing your skin, your bones, your body. Noticing how you feel inside you. All the muscles, all the bones, all the different parts of your body. Noticing what you notice outside of you. Noticing how it is to bring your attention to yourself, giving yourself this attention, this sense of spaciousness. As you're doing this, perhaps allowing yourself to be in a beautiful place in nature. Perhaps you're by the sea, perhaps you're in a forest, perhaps you're near a mountain or a river. Allowing yourself to be somewhere nourishing, somewhere beautiful, somewhere that feels really good, loving, resourcing, compassionate to you, somewhere you can take space. Just allowing yourself to notice if you're near trees or near water or whatever you're near, noticing what they're like. Noticing what it feels like to be in this beautiful place of nature. Noticing trees or plants or water, birds or animals. What are you noticing? Just really taking in what you notice around you, noticing how your body feels in this place. Noticing what you connect with, what you can allow. And then very, very gently, there is a beautiful place to sit, perhaps a bench, or something that feels really comfortable for you to sit down. And you take a space, maybe it's by a river or by water or by a tree, something really resourcing, really settling, really calming. And you take this place, you sit down, get yourself comfortable and relaxed, and ready to do the fear and the faith meditation. And to start with, you open both your hands, if it feels comfortable, in a way that's comfortable for you. And you choose one of your hands to work with. And in this hand is going to be faith. This is going to be the part of you that is attuned to faith, that believes in faith. That's connected to your sense of faith. So in this hand is an object or creature or thing or symbol that is connected to faith, to the sense that all is well and that you are supported, you are loved. So I'd like you to connect with, what does this object look like? What does this object feel like? How much does it weigh? How weighty is it or light is it? If you feel it, what does it feel like in your hand? If it could move, how would it move? If it made a sound, what sound would it make? When you connect with this object, what do you feel about it? What do you feel towards this being or creature or symbol or object? How do you feel? And can this object receive you? Does this object know about you? So the part of you that's connected to faith and openness and belief, does this object know you, and can it feel you with your big self and your resourcefulness? And just see if a connection can happen between this object and you. Just see and notice if something can connect. Don't worry if it can't. Just notice and see if that's possible. And then I'd like you to talk to this part, this faith part. What does this faith part feel, believe, want for you? What does it desire for you? What does it want to open to for you? And listen. Listen to what it says. And what is its job in your life? What is the faith part? What is its job in your life? And what is it frightened of? If it didn't do its job or it couldn't bring forth what it wants for you, what is it frightened of? And is it burdened in any way? It might not be. It might be fine. Does it need releasing from anything in any way? Just check in with it. And see if there's a possibility of a little bit of releasing from any burdens in any way. And then check in, is there anything else it wants to say to you right now? Or any support it might need? Any love it might need right now? And then very, very gently, we're going to go to the other hand. And in the other hand, we're going to say thank you to the faith part. And we're going to go to the fear part in the other hand. And in the other hand, there is an object or creature or thing that represents fear, that represents what you might be afraid of. And this object or creature or thing, what does it look like? What does it feel like in your hand? What does it weigh? How heavy is it or how light is it? If it made a sound, what sound would it make? If it had thoughts, what would it think? What do you feel towards this part? When you connect with it, what do you feel? Does this part know you? Does this part know or have a relationship with you, your big self you? Check in. Do they have a connection? And if they don't, can that be allowed that you and this part connect in a little way? And does this part, how old does this part think you are? And perhaps you can tell this part how old you really are, so that it knows that you are an adult and you are a grown adult and you are resourced and you have grown yourself and you have things to offer this part. It's not all on its own. We want these parts to know they're not on their own. Just letting that part know how old you are and that you are this beautiful being that's grown yourself. And then I'd like you to check in with this part. What does this part fear? What's this part worried about? What does this part feel it needs to do as a job to help you? What's this part doing? What does this part feel and fear if it didn't do its job would happen? What does this part fear? And check in with this part. Is this part burdened? Does this part feel like it's carrying a huge amount that is all on its own? It's not got anyone to look after it. It's doing it all by itself. Just check in with this part. And notice if this part knows that you're there, your big self, your big heart self. Notice if this part knows about your big heart self. Just notice if that connection is there, and just see if you can allow a bit of that connection between your big heart self and this part, this fear part. And then very, very gently, only in the way that's right for you, I'd like to guide you to get these two parts to speak, to see if they can find a way together. And they might not. Sometimes this is a journey. There's no shoulds here. We're just going to see what happens, if that's okay with you. We're going to find out what happens. But sometimes between two polarizations, as in two parts that seem really different, there can be a middle way. There can be a finding of a third way together. Can be. It's no have to be. So if you could bring your two hands slightly closer together and just see, what would it be like for them to listen to the other, for one part to hear the other part, and just see if there's something that happens as they listen to each other. Just see if that's possible. Just see as you move the hands closer together. Notice what happens inside you, what happens between them. Always keeping a sense of your big self and big heart, keeping that relationship with your heart and the two parts. Reminding them all that you are resourced. There's always your big self here. Slow breaths through your nose. And very gently bringing the hands another level closer together. Notice what that's like. Again, only do what's right for you. Please feel free to do this as much or as little as feels okay for you. And then if it feels okay, again, check in with yourself, noticing what feels all right for you. if you can bring the hands together in a prayer position. Again, do what's right for you, if it feels okay for you. And just notice what that's like to bring these two parts together. Just notice, if that feels okay, notice what that's like. Notice what happens in your body. Notice what happens between the parts. Notice how you feel. All the time being connected to your big self, to your big heart. Slowing your breathing down, breathing through your nose. Noticing what's happening in your body. Notice what you're noticing in your body. And then very gently put one hand in the center of your chest and the other hand on top, if it feels okay to do. And as you're doing this, notice what's happening in your body right now. What do you notice in your body? What do you notice in your heart? What sensations are you having? What thoughts are you having? What actions want to come from you? Slowing your breathing down. And noticing. And then very, very gently moving your fingers, moving your head side to side. Having a little stretch, moving your arms. Moving your body in a way that's okay for you to move it. And then very, very gently coming back to the room.